Let's get to the current president, Joe Biden. So this is a new report from our old colleagues over at The Hill. Let's go ahead and put this up on the screen. I just can't help but laugh. Biden gets set to lean into the economy in 2024. One of the journalists on this piece is Amy Parnes, very well respected, well sourced, and Sylvan Lane is the other one on the byline here. So let me read you a little bit of this. With the State of the Union address on February 7th, which, by the way, guys, we are going to do live stream coverage of that, Biden is likely to give an upbeat tone on the economy that's going to roll into a campaign message that Democrats expect will highlight strong job numbers and rising wages. A senior vice president for the Third Way, like corporate centrist think tank, said the economy can and will be a winning issue for Biden. When you look at the top line stats, they're incredibly impressive. These are massive accomplishments. Guys, reality check. We still have 70+% of the country saying we are on the wrong track. You literally have Joe Biden's Treasury Secretary warning that we are headed into a recession. We have covered the way that banks are stockpiling cash because they are so fearful of what is happening in the future. You still have the Fed hiking interest rates. You have all kinds of weirdness and craziness in terms of the housing market, in terms of even the auto loan market. So for them to pretend like, oh, the economy is going to be great and this is something we can lean into for the election, I think that is totally delusional.
Yeah, I obviously agree. You know, look, actually what I'm taking away from this with Biden is he should run on Social Security and Trump madness. I mean, that's what all the exit pollings that we have about Democratic overperformance or Republican underperformance has to do with Trump madness and then boomers coming out because they thought that Republicans were going to cut their Social Security. I mean, it's actually, you literally have the whole debt ceiling fight going on right now where they're on their back foot. That's what all I would do is bash them over the head. I wish that politics didn't work this way, but unfortunately, we really do seem to be in the age of the defensive. When you vote Republican, you're voting against the liberals. When you're voting Democrat, you're voting against the Republicans. In a lot of ways, you know, the Stop the Steal madness was enough to keep people down, or at the very least, switch ticket at the very top. For Biden, you just want to make a choice between stop Trump madness and me, and also I'll protect your Social Security.
Yeah. I mean, Trump
like,
is very aggressively trying to inoculate himself against the Social Security.
It's tough whenever, because it's a vibe, right? So Biden can say, I'm defund the police. What does it matter? If the institutional left is for it, people are like, well, I don't believe you. You know, it's one of those things where Trump, by being in the Republican Party, if the Republican Party is going to be coded as anti-entitlements, then you're going to have ultimately get the pushback.
That's a fair point. And also, you know, they're moving forward with this insane plan of, like, you know, 30% national sales tax that they have to vote on in the House, because this is one of the things that McCarthy gave to the holdout caucus. And, you know, how's it going to sell to the American people? Like, hey, you know how high your grocery bill is right now? You know how much you're paying for eggs and milk right now? How about we up that by 30%? How do you feel about that, buddy? Good luck with that messaging, too. I mean, Democrats are going to have a field day with the vote that they're going to take on that ultimately. So anyway, that's the Democratic plan to try to pretend like the economy is all hunky-dory. This is something the Obama administration tried as well, and it did not work out well for them either. I think this is an incredibly, incredibly foolish plan. And at the same time, we shouldn't lose sight of the fact that Biden, even though the media narrative was after the midterms, solidified his position, and he's looking stronger than ever, and he's good to go in terms of, you know, being the nominee and probably winning the general election, the numbers in some of the early states really tell a different tale. So let's go ahead and put this New Hampshire poll up on the screen. So you've got the Republican primary results up top. You got Trump with a lead over Ron DeSantis, 37-26. They also then threw Chris Sununu in there. I don't know why. I don't know if he's planning on running or not. Anyway, he gets 13% in the state of New Hampshire. Then you have Nikki Haley 4, Mike Pence 3, and basically Glenn Youngkin 0. Good luck with that, buddy. And then on the Democratic side, though, this is what's interesting is even though DeSantis is, you know, he's within 11 points, kind of nipping at Trump's heels there, Biden is actually in a weaker position in the Democratic primary than Trump is in the Republican primary. You've got Biden at only 25% of New Hampshire Democrats saying they want to vote for this guy. Pete at 16, Michelle Obama at Canada. Why do you include her? 15%, Kamala Harris 5, Gavin Newsom 3, undecided 36%. So in any case, there's a lot of weakness here. This was the second New Hampshire poll to come out that found basically a majority, a large majority of New Hampshire Democratic-based voters wanting a different candidate than Joe Biden. And I just think it's absolutely remarkable. If you dig into this poll, another thing that I found really interesting is they say that Biden's best numbers are among low-intensity Democrats, those who have just voted in one of the past 4 elections. He gets 40% of those, versus among the 4-for-4s, they call them regular primary voters, Biden is at only 27%. So they say Biden's advantage over Buttigieg comes almost entirely from older, self-identified conservative Democrats without college degrees, a fading part of the party's coalition. And also apparently with people who don't vote that often, which is, you know, if you know anything about politics, those are not necessarily the people that you want to be the core of your base.
Oh, of course. I mean, the Democratic Party primary base overwhelmingly, at least increasingly, now becoming a lot more college educated and increasingly the overall vote share as a whole. So that's a terrible place to be. At the same time, that's exactly what you would want in a general election. At some point, I don't think it matters just because Buttigieg is not going to challenge
He's not
him.
running.
Right, he's not going to run. So, you know, it doesn't matter. That said, whenever it shows up, what can that tell us? Which is high turnout saved Joe Biden's ass in the 2020 election. Remember this, guys. We had one of the highest turnout elections in modern history. Like, I think Trump, you know, that's one of the reasons Trump is always like, I won 10 million more votes. It's like, yeah, well, you also got 15 million people on the other side. But anyway, that's aside. The point is that millions more people voted in 2020 than year prior. I actually see no reason why that would go down. We just had a midterm with the highest record midterm turnout in decades. I think it was like 2002 or something like that. It came similar to in terms of the strife that we're feeling. I don't think anybody can doubt that 2024 won't be, you know, at least in a very emotive rematch between the two or whomever does ultimately become the GOP nominee. So I just see a scenario where your ability to motivate people to come out for you is so vitally important. And for Biden, you know, if I'm Biden, you better get on your hands and knees and pray for Trump. It's the only thing that's going to save you. Otherwise, remember this, Republicans won the national popular vote by 6 points in the midterm elections. You're toast without that.
And let me tell you guys, don't underestimate Trump.
Yeah, obviously.
You know, and listen, I fell
Yeah.
for it. I was like, okay, listen, the dude is going to get indicted.
Yeah.
Like the document thing seems like an open and shut case. He might get indicted also. And this might still happen for some of the January 6th stuff. Like, surely this is not going to wear well to the American public. You just had this massive repudiation of him in the midterms, as clear as day. But again, in this poll, according to this poll, and polls can be wrong, we all know that, Biden and Trump in a statistical tie for a general election, head to head. And obviously, New Hampshire is a state that, you know, Biden won previously. Democrats did quite well in terms of the midterm elections. And you're tied with this dude right now at this point when he's kind of at his, like, low ebb of popularity in terms of, you know, Donald Trump. Anyway, so he's got an electability issue. He's got a lot of weakness with his own base. He's got a lot of people who are understandably like, bro, you're going to be 86 by the time you finish this term.
I can't even believe it.
Are you really up for this? You really think you can handle this job for another 4 years? So they got some big problems on their hands, bottom line.
In 86. Wow.
Hey guys, ready or not, 2024 is fully upon us now, and Saagar and I have been brainstorming ways that we can really up our game for this critical election.
Yeah, we rely on our premium subs to expand our coverage, to add staff, to upgrade the studio. We just want to give you the best independent coverage of this election, which is possible. So if you can help us out, become a premium subscriber today, breakingpoints.com, or the link is down here in the description video. It really means the world to us, and if you like what we're all about, this is the best possible way to keep us 100% independent, working only for you.